It was supposed to be a routine fishing trip. At sunrise, 29-year-old Ethan Walker left the harbor in his small boat, planning to return before dark. The weather was perfect. The sea was calm. He waved goodbye to his younger sister standing on the dock. "See you tonight," he shouted. Those would be the last words anyone heard from him. 5 hours later, a violent storm appeared without warning. Towering waves slammed into Ethan's boat, destroying the radio and ripping the GPS from its mount. The engine failed, leaving him drifting into the endless Pacific Ocean. When the storm finally passed, there was no land, no ships, no way home. Only water in every direction. The Coast Guard launched an enormous search. Helicopters scanned the sea, rescue planes flew overhead, ships searched day and night. After 10 days, the search ended. Authorities declared Ethan missing. His family refused to believe he was gone. Meanwhile, Ethan made one decision that kept him alive. He would survive one day at a time. He collected rainwater using a plastic sheet from the boat's emergency kit. He caught small fish with a handmade hook crafted from a broken piece of metal. He learned to ignore his hunger. He learned to sleep in short moments. Every sunrise became a victory. Every sunset meant he had survived another day. The ocean tested him in ways he never imagined. One afternoon, sharks circled his boat for hours. At night, strange sounds echoed beneath the hull. Several times, dolphins appeared beside the boat, almost as if they were guiding him. For a brief moment, he didn't feel completely alone. By the 20th day, Ethan's body was growing weaker. His face was burned by the sun, his lips were cracked. His clothes hung loosely from his thin frame. He had begun talking to himself just to hear a human voice. He spoke to the stars. He spoke to the sea. He even spoke to the photograph of his family he kept inside a waterproof bag. "I promised I'd come home, and I will." Day 33 brought another storm. The waves tossed his boat like a toy. A massive wave threw him into the water. He fought desperately to climb back aboard before the current pulled him away forever. When he finally reached the boat, his food was gone. His remaining supplies had been washed into the ocean. He was completely alone, with nothing left but hope. Days passed. Sometimes Ethan imagined seeing ships that weren't really there. Sometimes he thought he heard voices calling his name. The loneliness became almost as dangerous as the sea itself. Still, he refused to quit. On the 46th morning, he noticed hundreds of birds flying overhead. Birds. After weeks of seeing nothing but open water, he knew what that meant. Land couldn't be far away. For the first time in weeks, he smiled. Late that afternoon, something appeared on the horizon. A cargo ship. Ethan grabbed the emergency mirror from his survival kit and reflected sunlight toward the vessel again and again. Minutes felt like hours. Then, the ship slowly turned. It was coming toward him. He fell to his knees, and not because he was weak, but because he finally believed he was going home. The crew pulled Ethan aboard. The captain stared at him in disbelief. "How long have you been out here?" he asked. Ethan looked toward the endless ocean. "I stopped counting after a month." Doctors later estimated he had drifted more than 1,500 miles across the Pacific. He had survived with almost no food, limited fresh water, and nothing but determination. When reporters asked him what kept him alive, Ethan paused before answering. "It wasn't strength. It wasn't luck. It was the promise I made to my sister. I told her I'd see her tonight, and I couldn't break that promise." From that day forward, Ethan never took another sunrise for granted. Because sometimes, the greatest survival story isn't about escaping the ocean. It's about refusing to let hope sink beneath the waves.